Hi, welcome to part 2 of our so exciting topic. So in the previous video, we talked about briefly about mirroring in what do you like, what's your preference, and also how all this actually gives you a deeper understanding of where your loneliness and emptiness is coming from. And of course, I know that this is just a little introduction to these topics because I just researched about it, and I got so excited about all this new information in my brain, and my brain is literally like so excited with this new information. And at the same time as I'm talking, I'll be removing some stickers, so just doing some things with my hands. So just let me get some books first. Yeah, so anyway, as I was saying, so then you think to yourself, like, what is it? Why do I feel lonely? And why do I feel so empty? And what is the meaning of my life? Like, why am I even here? What am I doing on this floating rock? And for the longest time, that's my constant question in my mind. It's like, why am I here? Like, I don't feel like I'm wanted, or or like even needed on this earth. And why am I here? Like, why am I here? Like, what am I supposed to do here? And today I realized that this whole thing of having to go through some challenging times in my childhood, and also growing up as into an adult, and working in very fun and also very challenging environments, and now pivoting into trainings and consulting, and then creating this video, and literally reading and learning about a lot of different things. And there's always this like I'm always like on this quest of finding out more and more and more and more and more and more and more. And today I realize that this is the meaning of my life. This gives me meaning, as in to learn about myself and find out about different things, how I behave and how people behave, and all these different connections and everything, and how I'm able to, in this era, have all these little like platforms, and all these platforms to share all this kind of information. And it doesn't okay, this is not about whether it matters or not. Okay, wait, does it matter? Let me think. Maybe a lot of times we are so scared to share information because I feel like, if I really want to share information about these kind of things, shouldn't I be like a professional person, or like shouldn't I be somebody who has more information, more knowledge, more wisdom, and more whatever things there. So there's always this not enoughness that is preventing me from sharing a lot of things. But then I realized that actually a lot of times people don't need you to be an expert or anything. People just want to hear your experience. And because we are creatures that crave connection, I think everybody enjoy listening to stories, and listening from different people who have experienced similar things, and in how they gone through those difficult things, and how they overcome all those things, how they get through all these things. And that itself is meaning, because we want that connection. And even though I'm just talking to you through my like camera and everything, but I think somehow or rather, if you resonate with me on a certain level, then you feel that connection. And that's how I felt when when sometimes I watch some YouTube videos or listen to the podcast or read books and everything. Like this like juiciness. Like there's this juiciness to my brain. It's like I don't know how to explain this thing. It's that I'm like there's this high from knowing new information, and I don't know what I'm saying, but but I guess at the end of the day, I think it's important for us to share. And because of sharing, and like sharing, there's so many of us, right? There's like 8 billion of us, and like by sharing our different points of view, different perspectives, different angles of the same problem, then we can actually move forward a little bit more as a whole of humanity. And I guess that would be somehow or rather a kind of evolution in a sense, because now that I have new information in my brain, I know that I don't have to behave in that same way that I've been telling myself to behave for the longest time. Like, I can change that. With this new information, I can change it. I can modify myself. And yeah, I think that's so interesting and so exciting. And I think what I really want to do also is to share all these little, or introduce all these different things. And like I said, I'm not a professional or an expert on such topics, but I think it would be good that by introducing these little terms and words and concepts, then you can also explore further on your own, because you have your own experience, and what you will get from it will be different, and it will be different for everybody. And I think that's such a interesting thing, because for the longest time I keep telling myself, like, let's don't say so many things, don't say so many things, don't say so many things, because a lot of times when you are somebody who is really extremely passionate about different kind of topics, and when people ask you, right, you unknowingly info dump because you're so excited. Like, when, for example, let's say I'm so excited about anything to do with like psychology or like mental health and everything, and so sometimes people will ask me something, and because most people don't ask me such questions, and then when that one person asks me that question, I get so excited and I will tell them every single thing about that topic. And then I realized that maybe they didn't want to know so much. But then it's too late because I already shared it. And then I feel very embarrassed and ashamed for sharing so much things. But you know what? Over here, I can say everything, because people can choose to listen or not, right? And it's literally like a platform. You can yeah, you can decide whether you want to continue to listen to what I say or not. And so because of those experience, right, of me trying to tell people a lot of things, and then after that feeling embarrassed and ashamed for sharing so much things, I start to feel like I shouldn't say so many things. And then I guess that actually contributed to me feeling lonely and empty, because I tried to control myself and my excitement. And also sometimes they are like quite mean people, like, because they know that you behave in this way, right? Like, you get excited easily, then you want to say so many things and everything. And so sometimes, right, they will purposely ask you something just to see that reaction, which is, don't do that. That's very mean. But yeah, there are some people that does that. So anyway, you are not alone. No, you are lonely because you are safe, not because you are alone. Safe in a sense that because you have lost that connection with yourself, and you don't really have that relationship with yourself, that as the years pass, right, you actually forget about yourself, and then that loneliness and emptiness probably came from there, not because of other people excluding you, or other people um you know busy with their life, and or like you don't have enough time to do other things, or all these kind of external things. Yeah, it's probably not the actual reason why you feel lonely and empty. So then you can start by talking to yourself, and in the next time when somebody asks you like, hey, what do you want to eat, don't say, or don't ask the person what they want to eat. Really ask yourself, like, what do I want to eat? Just for an exercise. And of course, if let's say the other person say they want to eat something else, then you don't need to insist lah, to create a statement like, hey, I want to eat this thing, because that would also be a bit strange to that person, because all along you are like, anything, and then suddenly now you have an opinion. That's also a bit strange. So you can start first and asking yourself, like, what do I want? What do I want to do? What do I want to eat? What do I like? Where do I want to go? And all these little questions, you can start with all these little questions, asking yourself first. And yeah, and you can, I think slowly you start to realize that a lot of times the actions that you take, right, or like when somebody tell you that they want to share with you, or like just suddenly come and tell you their problem, and you are very, very tired, do you also just sit there and listen to their problems, or do you actually tell them like, hey, actually today may not be the right day because I'm quite overwhelmed and I may not have the capacity to listen, like, shall we schedule it another day? Would you be able to say that by putting yourself first and creating that trust within yourself? I mean, all these things, there's no right or wrong. It's just asking yourself, what do I want? And maybe by doing that little by little, you will realize that you are not as lonely and as empty as you thought you are. Oh my god, this is so good. Anyway, thanks for watching this video. If you enjoy all these interesting topics, don't forget to like and subscribe. And thank you so much for watching. Bye!